What's going on, everyone? Today it's officially time to get started on our Silver Z. It's been sitting here too long. We need to get something going with it. So currently, as you can see, the steering rack is not hooked up. There's no U-joint there. Reason being is that the tie rods were never hooked up. The threads are bad, so here I've got this tie rod. We're going to switch it out. Or after we switch it out, we're probably going to get in here and start pulling out all of the interior, everything that we can clean that is able to be cleaned, because we have things like these that have been living in this car prior to ownership. Who knows, there's probably been some in here since then. I did clean the rear out, found one dead one, so we'll see if we can get everything settled. We'll get it all stripped, pulled into the barn, see what we can do about cleaning it, and we'll be getting busy here on the engine bay as well. Now that I get down here, I see that this side really wasn't the problem, although it definitely needs replaced. I've got kind of bigger issues here. Yeah, the steering shaft is not hooked up, but look, either is the rack. Can't remember if this came with it or if I just threw this in here to try to hook the system up quickly, and that was just way back when. So you can see back here I've got no nut on top of the tie rod, so it's just there to hold it together. I think what we're just going to go ahead and tackle now, we're going to pull the wiring harness out, and to do that we need to pull the interior out because we need to get the dash out to get access back down there. I don't know, there's no AC in here, so it's hard telling if we're going to keep that, but we're really just going to pull about everything that we can so we can get to the point of being able to, say, scotch it down, scotch bright, just get it all cleaned, wiped down, and maybe we can remove all these and whatnot, just kind of clean it up. I don't know, maybe we'll do something with it, but we're probably the goal is to paint it. There's no promise there. I don't have a place to paint necessarily, but who knows, maybe we can paint it outside. You never know, there's a will, there's a way. Since I noticed that none of this stuff's getting done with the steering, we went ahead and did something. Got our old wheels over here, and I will have to say this looks incredible. I mean, obviously it's nothing that great because they're just stock wheels, but compared to the other wheels, these look way better. So now we can recoup a little bit of funds off them wheels. They're pretty ugly, at least in my opinion, but now we've got these. So if you're around, 250 bucks, OBO, show up, sell them to you for $2. Now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna get on to the interior side of this. We'll start in the back because I think most of it's already out, but we're going to switch this T-top as well because this is super crusty, but half of it's already out. I was going to part it out but chose not to. As you see, we've got little stuff like that. It's been pulling it off and taking it to who knows where. That's where I found the body last time. So we will get to pulling this all out, so enjoy the time lapse. We've got all of our interior pulled out, as you can see here. Figured I'd save the best and most questionable part for you guys. Alright, here goes nothing. I can already see something down here, but oh, well, I will say I've never seen one of these in here because I did see that fuzz and I was like, oh great. Ah, this actually isn't horrible. This spare tire's been sitting for a while, and well, I'm pleased here, to say the least. We will just cover it back for now. until we get her around. We can pull the shop back out and get this taken care of. Now we're going to move to the front. We've already got this interior panel. We will leave these quarter glass trims for now just because they're kind of a pain in the butt to remove. But we will start. Probably just going to pull the seats out. I don't see why not. Their little brackets are a little crusty. May leave the door cards for now as well, because I don't suspect anything really got in the doors and was living in the doors. So those may just need a wipe down. Steering wheel's nice. Do need to get another A-pillar trim here, because this one was pretty jacked. But let's go grab our T-top, get this switched out, see if we can find the correct one, and get to work on pulling this out. This down here is an accurate representation of how this entire car was. That is mouse crap everywhere. So we replaced the T-top, but unfortunately this one literally has a spot in the exact same spot. You know, over 10 T-tops that have rust right here, so I wonder if there was something done from the factory on accident that caused this to happen. But we've got our driver's seat out, and you can see how nasty, disgusting it is. But we're going to go ahead and start pulling out the rest of the interior. So here's your time lapse. Actually, I just realized that this is going to take a very long time. There's no reason in running a 30-minute clip just to cut it down to like 2 minutes. What's up, everyone? It's the next day, maybe a couple days since the last video. It's been ridiculously rainy here. You can kind of tell by the bottom of the wheel. It hasn't even been on here a week and it's already that dirty. We got a good chunk. It's been waterlogged down here, but we can finally start getting some work done again. We just completed a fuel pump change here in this Black Z. So if you guys have ever wondered how to change an OEM fuel pump or fuel pump assembly, check that video out. It'll be out before this one, I believe. If not, it'll be right after. But it's pretty easy. Everything went pretty smooth sailing. So now, since it's dry enough, we're gonna get back to working on this. My daily goal for this is going to be getting the rest of the interior out. Really, we're about ready to pull the dash. I can go ahead and pull the center console, I believe. Oh yeah, it's got one bolt holding it in up here that's pretty crusted. I'll grab an impact for that so we know we can get it out. But other than that, we are completely gutted, and it is very nasty and dirty in here. So we're gonna get to pulling the rest of this out, pull this seat out, maybe even the carpet, see what kind of damage we got here. The carpet itself is pretty nice, so even if it's not gonna be the one that stays in it, because it's gonna be quite a chore to clean this thing, especially without having the water on yet, because it's still at risk of freezing out here. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to pull the carpet out and we'll replace it with the good one that we got. I've always got a backup because of times like this. So we've got the dash and the crash bar or dash support out now, and we've got us another nest, a bunch of nasty grossness. Even up in here, there has been some rodents. So since I have a ton of this stuff already, all of these HVAC heating pipes and stuff, all the plumbing. Oh yeah, I can see right there in that heater core that there's a bunch of crap in there. So with that being said, we're gonna pull all that out. We're gonna throw it away. Sorry, the sun's super bright. We're gonna pull out the new ones because that's gonna be a pain in the butt to clean, and I really have too many at this point, so it's perfect opportunity to use some of my spare parts up. Other than that, we're gonna pull this off and pull our HVAC out so we can get to the wiring harness plate so we can pull it out, and then we can get onto the engine bay and start doing, just making this thing a little cleaner, simplify it, get rid of some of this crazy wiring that they had before. Confused, I think I just see fuel pump wiring now, but there is like an alarm system, little red box back here that I've got to figure out kind of what it goes to. I've disconnected it from 3 points now, and I'm not really sure. There's like a dial on it, but absolutely disgusting. We're gonna have to hook the shop back up, pull it out here, clean it out. Well, you can see this side, inside of there's definitely another nest. So back to work. Now we've got all of the rest of the interior out, rear panels, and the carpet. Just got our hanging steering shaft, but about to take the shop bag through here and clean all this junk up, all this nasty droppings. And now that I see that AC, or at least my blower motor, needs to come out, because it's disgusting too. I'm gonna just switch all this out. I may switch the modules over just in case they are good, but the majority of this is pretty gross. It's gonna do, or at least benefit very greatly from a good thorough cleaning. So this is a nastiness. A little before, we also pull our wiring harness out up here, so we're really opened up to about everything. I got the front end up so that way I can take both the tie rods off, pull the rack. So let's get to stripping the rest of this out. Well, a couple hours later, and we haven't really got too much done, but I feel like you'll be able to tell on the camera. This here was just a load of crap. Literally, this was like the toilet. That's super cleaned up. Obviously, all this under carpet is pretty gross looking, but nearly everything has been cleaned up. We've got the back here, even here we hit it with the nylon brush. I know it's not going to be the best for the paint, but we're going to repaint it. It's not a big deal. So we also have got the whole rear done. Pretty much, I think the rear is good for a cleaning, like with soap and water and stuff, because I am going to do that, clean all of this with soap and water, so that way we can disinfect and hopefully kill out the smell of all this. This is still my biggest concern slash work area. I did notice something when I was back here cleaning. I noticed the mice, that green you see there is supposed to be the orange wire. It's all exposed, it's super corroded. So we're gonna have to splice that up. Really not a big deal. We're probably gonna run a whole separate wiring setup like I made a video on to run a bigger fuel pump. So there's no big deal there. Other than that, we've got this whole pile over here of audio equipment that we have pulled out. That's what I found out the red box was. It was tied into like everything. It's a huge mess. Thank goodness this is finally coming around. I mean, you can just see up here how dirty that is versus over here where I scrubbed it. So car's loving it. Hasn't had this kind of attention and for probably well over 5 years. Who knows, maybe even 10. I don't know how long the previous owner had this, but we're gonna get and shut up all of the interior and stuff. May bring a couple things out here to like make it smell a little bit better, to kind of kill some of the odor, since we're really getting down and attacking most of the feces in here. So we're gonna get to working in the engine bay. We've already got the wiring harness out. Now we're gonna work on the steering rack, take the tie rods off, plop that out, unhook the power steering as well, because the power steering pump is still hooked up, and hopefully probably pull off all of our brackets and stuff, you know, so we can use that to clean up the rest of the bay and kind of get everything off and out of the way so we can do what we need to do with it. Got the majority of all the bracketry out. We've still got to, like say, pull the booster and the lines and stuff, but those I'm gonna have to soak up with some PB Blaster, because they look a little worse for wear, and I don't want to have to break them and end up making a new set or replacing a set up here. So we're gonna see what we can do with them. And after we get this out, we'll pull all these fuel lines and all of this mess out to be able to clean out here in the back, throw that booster in the trash unless the master's just bad. And basically just pull and clean all of this up. We're gonna get the soap bucket and the wet shop vac. We're gonna clean out in here, primarily back here. See if we can get the rest of the nest that was down in there. Wash down this interior of the panels that are left, and really just give this thing a nice disinfecting, because it's very disgusting. And honestly, I hate working on it right now, because every time I get in the car and work, I feel like I'm just covered in feces, and I have to go wash my hands because I got a horrible problem with touching my face. So figured we'll save all that boring stuff. I'll do a lot of the washing in between until we start the next video, so we can kind of get all that squared away. So I think that's going to be the end of this video, guys. If you want to stay updated and stay along with the build, don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe down below. Stay tuned for our next video. Peace.